Today's topic is earn your carbs, which I love this because a lot of people have the mentality that carbohydrates are bad, like that they're not good for you. And I agree with that for certain groups of people and certain types of carbohydrates, but let's differentiate that a little bit and let's talk about earn your carbs. So carbs are okay for certain individuals with certain activity levels, but we have to realize who are the people that can take on carbs, and then who are the people that if I intake carbs, it's going to increase fat tissue, it's going to make me less metabolically resilient, and I'm going to have increased body weight and that kind of thing. So nobody wants that. We all typically want to lose weight. We're trying, especially at the first of the year, we're trying to get our weight down to a certain level. So carbs can play a huge role in this. So you have to realize that carbohydrates will work in your favor if you're exercising. When you exercise, your muscle tissue is going to become like a glucose sponge. And so if I take in carbs, now it's going to enter my muscle tissue, it's going to absorb it, it's going to take it out of the bloodstream into the muscle to create ATP, which is going to only benefit you this way. If you're not exercising and your muscles are not acting like a glucose sponge, then you take in carbohydrates, which turns into glucose, which is sugar. It's going to increase fat cells. Okay, that's what we don't want. We don't want it increasing fat cells. We don't want it floating around the blood and increasing our insulin levels. That's where we're going to run into a problem. So think about it like this. If I have my truck in the driveway and I'm never driving it, it's just staying in the driveway, I don't have to keep refilling it with gas. It's already got gas in it. And so think about carbohydrates as the gas for your body. And so if you're sitting at a computer desk all day long and you're not moving, you're not active, you're burning some calories, but very, very little compared to if I go do a workout, if I'm getting up, if I'm walking, if I'm in a pickup basketball game, or if I'm doing something like that. Now I'm gonna burn a whole lot more calories, I'm gonna be a whole lot more active, and at that point, I need to add in some fuel, right? Because I've burned fuel, I've used fuel, but most of us, we're very sedentary, we don't move enough, we don't work out enough, and so when that starts to happen, we don't need to refuel, we don't need to refeed like we do all the time. So much of your life can benefit from eating less, fasting more, closing those eating windows down, especially if your goal is to lose weight and you know you're not expending a lot of energy. Most of us eat way too big of portions, way too big of meals, and then we also have a lot of carbohydrates with those meals that are only increasing fat density in our bodies and making us more overweight, making us more apt to sickness and disease and those kind of things. Let me differentiate carbs. So when I talk about carbs, I'm talking about white rice, potatoes. So sweet potato, white potato, purple potato, those are things that I love. Oats, organic, gluten-free oats. So carbs for me, I take in a lot of carbs, but they're those kind of carbs. I'm not talking about like carbs that are like a donut carb or a French fry carb. I understand those are awesome, but that's not going to get you to any health that you want. Those are terrible foods to be eating. But carbs are something like most people enjoy carbs, right? So I mean, I enjoy life with carbs. I've been on ketogenic and carnivore diets and things like that, and it's not quite as enjoyable. But when I'm able to add in carbs, my energy feels better, my hormones feel better. I feel better having carbs. Granted, I'm working out 5 or 6 days a week, and so it allows me to have carbs and not hold on to fat tissue. My body's actually using that as fuel. So that's where you have to have the mentality is I'm earning my carbs. Yes, I have carbs, but I'm earning them. So if you're a person who doesn't work out and is not very active, you have like a more of a ketogenic style diet, a carnivore diet, an Atkins diet, a zero carb diet. Those are going to benefit you tremendously. Those animal-based diets are great for you because if you can get your protein right, then you're not going to overeat carbs anyways. So more of those animal meat-based diets, I really like those in this situation of someone who's sedentary and just not getting a lot of movement in. So just realize carbs are not a bad thing. When you exercise, you allow your body to take in more carbs and do good for you. But if you're not exercising and taking in carbs, that's where we're going to gain weight and we're not going to really be happy with the results.